And this is also a special edition, which you can tell because it's in the Time Gentleman Police font.
I think the font is in the Time Gentleman Police font, isn't it?
Well, it is now. It's a special edition.
It does look nice, doesn't it? Like
Well,
people
the
complain,
font,
like
yeah.
because originally it was
Dead tentacle.
the tentacle font, which is A, illegal, and B, people complained it was really hard to read.
Yeah.
So
Which I didn't have a problem with reading it, but maybe it's.
there's two big things in the middle of the fucking screen. Idiot for those now.
It's George Lucas.
George Lucas is an idiot, isn't he? One bit of paper.
Obviously. let's try it then. Not hassling you to examine it, though. I think possibly we only start putting those in right at the end. And then I do like how the female version of that is a big machine with tampons written on it.
To be fair, that is how ladies and gents toilets basically work, isn't it? Right? Do you get condom machines in ladies' toilets?
I certainly hope so. And that was all satire on how in adventure games when you've got you need a near infinite amount of
Yeah, because the idea is you could use them forever, right?
Yeah, you could get the puzzle wrong over and over again or whatever. But then as soon as you've completed the puzzle, they all disappear. So you happen to use the last
Sadly,
one.
there's not like a special joke in there for like if you use them in the right place and you only, it's like, oh, there's an infinite number of these. There's loads and loads and loads and loads.
Yeah.
And if you use it and then solve the puzzle immediately,
Yeah, first time.
there's no joke for like, oh, they've all gone.
Yeah.
So there were loads of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
That's it.
Well,
There's loads of really meta stuff in this about like that Dan is in the game and also coding the game
Yeah.
like as they go along, which
Yeah.
sort of just.
But it's
Like
nice
breaks
because
my
you don't say it outwardly. It just happens that Dan, the character, thinks that it's really good to have broken mirrors everywhere. But that was from.
You haven't been in it yet.
I know. I didn't really know. That was from 90s shooters, wasn't it? Like Max Payne would always have broken mirrors, so they didn't have to do reflections.
Key and door puzzle.
This line of dialogue you put in, and this fooled me. I was like, what the? My obsessive compulsive side means that I hate leaving that key in that door. Yeah, I just hate that it's just left there.
Oh. Remind me to start leaving keys in doors just to avoid.
Now, I think this is too handholdy. This
Yeah, there was loads of different versions of it, and it was just because originally you went back up and you had to make them finish their drinks and then get a fresh one as well.
Right.
That was like another thing.
right.
It was basically just like the puzzle itself was basically at one point really convoluted.
Right.
Like, as they drink this is their normal.
Yeah.
This is going to be their normal lager.
And so you'd have to do the drinking game
Twice, and it was awful. So it got sort of butchered down a little bit.
But still, though, saying, "Come on, let's go upstairs and here is what we're going to do."
Yeah, but otherwise this wouldn't make any sense because it felt like, I don't know, it just sort of
Oh, I see.
like otherwise you wouldn't. It didn't make sense that they were drinking that drink.
Yeah, you'd have to watch him go and fill it up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Fair enough. Also,
I love his walks like it's just awful.
at one point we wanted to have him come out and have robot legs for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that?
Either nude from the waist down or just have robot legs. It was like, no, just
Oh,
this
you should have
bizarre
done it naked
reveal.
from the waist down. That would have been nice.
Sub Kenny Everett whimsy. But yeah, but the policy was kind of generally make it a bit easier than, you know, better to veer towards a bit too easy than too hard, because then at least
Yeah.
people are enjoying it and
Also,
getting through
people much prefer. Weirdly, I thought I thought Ben There Dan That was too easy because we hadn't really thought through any of the puzzles. So
Right.
it's just like stuff just lying in your path, and like you
Yeah.
never go back to any old. There's no back and forth in it. There's no sort of like clever puzzles that involve reusing old items and stuff like that. And so so specifically put all that into Time Gentlemen Please, like to make it
Yeah.
have that proper adventure game feel.
Yeah.
And people prefer the puzzles in this one because there's nothing difficult about puzzles. It's like really,
Yeah.
there's very few difficult puzzles in Ben There Dan That. It's all very easy. And Time Gentlemen Please is like more like Day of the Tentacle sort of level,
Yeah.
like difficulty, like Monkey Island sort of difficulty.
Yeah.
And
Do you feel like
people-
that's the majority of people?
yeah, I feel like people complain about Time Gentlemen Please being too difficult, and because I think people just enjoyed the ride of Ben There Dan That.
Yeah.
And it was like it's a free game that we hadn't really put any effort into, so it was always kind of fine.
Yeah.
And then so for Time Gentlemen Please, I went, we're going to charge for it. We should do it. If we're going to do this, do it properly and like think these things through a little better than we ever did with Ben There Dan That.
Yeah.
And people didn't like it as much.
Yeah.
Turns out people like it when we just wing it.
I think that's kind of like modern audiences as well, though. I guess modern adventure audiences.
I think so.
People will say that the classic LucasArts games are too hard, and like, oh, I much prefer, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I suspect the majority of people played through this and Time Gentlemen Please with a walkthrough in an open in another window, so that they didn't have to think it through. They just, like once you've popped that can of Pringles and you've looked at a walkthrough, it's so easy to go back and keep doing it, keep doing it.
Yeah. Right. So this lift was added relatively late.
So one of the
on.
last things, I think. One of the last things we did. I think this was a direct. In fact, this was a direct result of wanting a little bit more back and forth and like having using the rock. Like the rock wasn't there originally. It was like a little bit of like that room, that dimension now has a bit of function, and you need to go in there to get this.
Right. So it's,
This is a crowbarred in attempt to have a little bit more classic LucasArts structure to it. See, Ben's alright touching wires now. This is actually...
I like this. One more press. Let's go to the player. Just one more click.
Really laborious process for...
This music was done by Lemmy.
Yeah, it was. It was Chris Simpson who did.
Yeah.
Went on to do Project Zomboid.
Yeah.
And I can't remember why he did it. He did it for something else. Oh, it's like their Click the Spot music, wasn't
Click
it?
the Spot, yeah.
They did this sort of little satire game called Click the Spot, which was like this dreadful flash thing. And we swiped the music and put it in here.
Yeah, I think we were playing it one day while we were coming up with ideas for this game. And it was something like, this would be amazing with music.
I love the idea that, like, at one point you were going to have to do this every time you went back up and down those stairs. Like, they're just going to stay in. Like, if you wanted to go back to the dimension, you had to.
I think
you had to put up with this.
I think if we had like like statistic like analysation going on while people were playing, just see like this
sudden drop
cliff as people went like, I have to do this every time I go back in. All right.
So it stays on this one for ages.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But that's like the classic kind of post Blues Brothers lift gag, isn't it? That you see all the time. Well, not all the time, but like it's kind of, it's like a semi-standard trope of a joke now, but it still works really well. Ooh, so I'm skipping through the dialogue, but it doesn't matter.
It's all shit anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not really worth watching.
Well, we could do a longer Let's Play where we just look at everything and do everything and read every single bit.
So can I tell the story about, is it Cecil? Is it Cecil?
Oh yes.
Can I tell that story?
Yeah.